Good morning, church, and welcome to our midweek devotion. It is Wednesday again, and this is a big week. This is a big week for us here at St. Jude's. So I've got a couple reminders, announcements, there's things to share with you all about that, and we're going to jump into a little devotion here in a minute. But let's start with those reminders. So this Sunday is our Celebration Sunday, where we're going to celebrate the past and prepare for the future. We've got a lot of big things in store to share with you all as we prepare for the future ministry opportunities that we have together as a church to step into, as well as kind of looking back over the last 170 years of worship here at this place, on this sacred ground, and of course longer in the area, St. Bartholomew's Parish, as we go back to that. But right here on this consecrated ground, 1852, which is just incredible to think about. Our country has been through so much. This community has been through so much in that time. And so we will celebrate all that we have been through and accomplished, as well as prepare for what God has in store for us next. I've had some great conversations leading up to this week, kind of getting some details worked out about some of the things that are going to be announced here. And I'm really excited to share this with you. It's been hard, actually, to kind of keep some of this under wraps, but the vestry and I have had discussions. We met in January and talked through all of this. We've been kind of praying about the direction God would take us, and so on this Celebration Sunday, that will be announced, and I'm excited for that. So join us 10 o'clock Sunday morning, preferably in person, so that you can also enjoy all the food and fellowship that we'll have as well on Sunday morning. But at least join us online if you're not able to be with us in person, and hear some of these announcements, hear the gospel preached, and hear actually a different liturgy that we're going to use. We're going to use parts from the Kenyan liturgy. The Anglican Church in Kenya has put together many years ago, and we're going to use part of that because it actually is also World Mission Sunday, and so it kind of ties in nicely with some of what we're going to be hearing about. So join us for that in person if you're able. Join us for the fellowship and lunch afterwards over here in Scardon Hall. And it's got, I think we've had, close to like 400 photos submitted now for this slideshow, this video that's going to play during that time. So it'll be going on for a while. We've got a lot of photos that folks have submitted of church life here at St. Jude's over the last several decades. So I'm excited to see some of that as well. It's been fun as I look through some of them ahead of time, trying to realize, who do I recognize? I've only been here 2.5 years, but who are the folks that I recognize, albeit, much younger in a lot of these photos. We are still going to have our family service that evening as well. We only have that service once a month, so I didn't want to nix that one this week. We will still meet 5 o'clock over here in Scardon Hall. And don't worry about it being a potluck this week. Don't bring a dish. We'll either have some pizza that I'll go pick up, or there'll be leftovers from the luncheon that we'll have. But dinner will be covered for this week. So join us Sunday morning, and if you're able, come back Sunday evening. We'd love to have you for that family service as well. I'll be making some announcements about Lent in the next week. We've got a Lenten series that'll kick off with the Ash Wednesday service, and then Lenten luncheons after that. And we have a Wednesday night service that's going to kick off here soon as well. We're going to kind of do it as an Anglicanism 101 type course. So we've looked at some broad brushstrokes of Christianity with missions and evangelism this past fall. We've looked at spiritual gifts and healing and some of those areas. Now we want to kind of bring that a little more focused into who are we as the Anglican Church, and what does that mean? So we had a lot of folks that were received into the church this past year during the bishop's visit. We had a lot of folks that have been confirmed over the years, sometimes many, many years ago. And this is going to be an opportunity for us to have some discussion and conversations around all of that and what it means. So that's going to be our Wednesday night series. I'll get you the dates of launching that here soon. I want to get through this weekend first, catch my breath, and then we'll roll forward. But we're going to be kind of talking through any number of things. So the historical documents that make up who we are, 39 articles, the creeds, the Jerusalem Declaration, things like that. We're going to talk through the prayer book, what's in it. We're not going to get too nitty gritty into prayer book comparisons like we did in the past. We kicked off some of our Wednesday night stuff with that 2 years ago. But we will look at the prayer book, and it will be a tool and a resource for us in this series. Anyway, that's kind of the gist of what Wednesday nights will be. It should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for that one. And then our Lenten Luncheon series is going to focus on spiritual disciplines, and my plan is to use Brother Lawrence's Practicing the Presence of God as kind of a text for that. So the readings will be loosely based around spiritual disciplines, but we'll have discussion around that with the Luncheon series. Again, all those dates are coming to you soon. You'll see them in an email announcement coming up shortly. Today, though, I wanted to focus on this right here. Now, I don't know if it's going to be backwards on the video or not, but you get the gist of what this is. It is the book of AA. And you might say, why are we talking about AA? Well, yesterday is the day in the church calendar that we remember Samuel Shoemaker. And Samuel Shoemaker was a priest in the Episcopal Church in New York and in Pittsburgh in the early to mid 1900s. I mean, 1930s, 40s, and into the 50s. He served in churches in those areas. But he is really one of the co-founders of what became Alcoholics Anonymous. And really, it was through some other outreach programs that he was doing in the church that AA was created. And those folks that were a part of it credit him really with the 12-step program. And so while AA today is not a Christian program, it talks about a higher being, and it talks of, through these 12 steps. But much of what's there and is reflected in that is based on Christianity. And there's some other programs now that are more intentionally Christian. But it was Samuel Shoemaker who got this really up and running and saw the need for it, along with a couple of other guys. And so he's remembered in our Anglican cycle of prayer, and his day is January 31st. And I was reminded of that yesterday, and I thought, in the community that we live in, and with some of the issues that have been brought to me over the years in ministry, both doing youth ministry, doing missions, and of course now as an ordained priest, addiction is a serious issue. And there are all kinds of addictions that folks face. And so while Samuel Shoemaker, of course, is responsible for creating this 12-step program around alcohol particularly, there's now programs that help people with addictions to narcotics. There's programs that help with the caregivers of addicts as well. There's programs that help with people that have addictions like pornography as well. And so in all of that, we have a need in this community, in this church, and as a whole as people, to pray for those who are suffering from addictions, and to pray for those who are in various stages of recovery. I had a close friend years ago who went through some big issues with this, issues that cost him his marriage, and have impacted career and whatnot. And at one point, his dad said to me, "Oh, well, he's not an addict anymore." And I just kind of thought, sometimes we just don't get it. Folks that are addicted are always addicted, and so they are in stages of recovery. And you can be, in recovery for the rest of your life without a relapse. But that doesn't change the fact that you have an addiction that you are recovering from. And I'm no expert in the area, but I thought, we sometimes see folks and say, oh, well, they're not an addict anymore, or they've recovered, and we don't acknowledge that it's a continual state of recovery. And so I just wanted to bring that up today, and say, if you have people in your life that are suffering from various addictions, please continually keep them in your prayer. Don't say that they were addicted and now are not. They will always be working on that area in their life. And it is a lifelong challenge that folks face. And so we need to find ways to support them. Samuel Shoemaker, an Anglican Episcopal priest up in Pittsburgh, is who gave us these 12 steps that have proven to be beneficial to so many. And yet, steps that so many more need to take, and we need to offer support however we can. As we close in prayer today, I want to use prayer number 63 in the 2019 prayer book that we use here. It is a prayer for those in bondage to addiction. And I just thought, what better than to use this prayer today for any number of folks that are suffering from that as we remember Samuel Shoemaker. So pray with me. O blessed Lord, you ministered to all who came to you. Look with compassion upon those who through addiction have lost their health and freedom. Restore to them the assurance of your unfailing mercy. Remove from them the fears that beset them. Strengthen them in the work of their recovery. And to those who minister to them, give patient understanding and persevering love. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.